Hello everyone, welcome back on the channel Procurement by Dinesh Kumar. Today we bring a new interesting procurement educational video for you and its name is Public Private Partnership. It is a very interesting topic in the field of procurement and big projects by different governments and private entities are being operated under this model. So in today's video, we will see what is the public procurement partnership, what are its benefit, what are its models, and how it is being operated, and some examples of the PPP model. So let's start. Our today's topic is public-private partnership. By using the public-private partnership model of procurement, in short, we say it as a PPP model. So by using this PPP model, big projects of long durations are being executed by the government and private sector. So it is a very important mode of procurement. Let's start. What is public-private partnership? Public-private partnership refers to a long-term cooperative arrangement between one or more public sector entities. On one side, government is there, and other side, the private players are there. So it is an agreement of long term between public and private sector. So they come together to meet some certain objectives at a certain price. So they enter into a contract. In detail, we will see in coming slides how it is being done. In this agreement, the private party contributes for investment, technological expertise they bring in, and they do their own management. The public authority, they ensures the rules and regulation, policies, oversight, and whatever it is required from the government side. So they take responsibility of that. The risk, responsibility, and rewards are shared by both of the parties depending upon the situation that which party is able to manage which type of risk. I will tell you in detail in coming slide. So this is the public-private partnership model. Let's see some key points of this PPP model. What are these? One is long-term agreement. It is typically ranging from 5 to 30 years or more, which is depending upon the project type and its complexity. So depending upon the nature of project, the tenure of the project is being decided. If the nature of project is long, so it can go for 20, 25, 30 years, and for short duration project, it can go up to 5, 7, 8 or 10 years. So it totally depends upon the nature of the project. And what private sector do? They have their own capital. They invest their capital, sometimes wholly or partially. They do designing. They construct, operate, and maintain the project. So this all things is being done by the private sector. Since they are professionals in this field, so they bring in their efficiency and investment with the technology, and it reduces the financial burden on the government side. Risk sharing is also being distributed on the party which is best able to manage the risk. Like in construction, risk managed by the private party, and regulatory risk is managed by the government party. So, depending upon the project to project and nature of the project, the risk sharing formula is decided. And it is linked with the performance of the private party for making payments. When payments are being made to the private player, they are based on quality, availability of service and facilities, whatever intended in the agreement, and not just the project completion. So it is not that the project is complete, we will make payment. The government will see that what type of quality and deliverables is being done by the private player, and then it is totally linked with the performance of the supplier, whatever payments are involved therein. The main focus of the government remains on the output and service delivery, and they monitors the service level and deliverables and not the internal operations of that private partner. Government does not interfere generally in the internal operations. They just want the delivery levels and service level and quality output as per the contract details. Private partners, they bring in the innovative solution, whatever latest technology available in the market and whatever the efficient processes, and it is resulting in a better quality, faster delivery, cost efficiency compared to traditional mode of procurement. So this innovation and technology benefit of private sector is helpful in this PPP model. And during this PPP model, the entire project life cycle cost is being considered from design, finance, construction, operation, and maintenance, and under one responsibility of a particular partner, which is a PPP partner of the government in that particular case. This ensures the long-term sustainability and encourages sufficient asset management. Sustainable procurement are also considered while framing this type of projects. In my previous video, I have made details video on the sustainable procurement. So all those benefits are being covered under such type of big projects. Regarding the legal and regulatory framework, successful PPP projects require a robust legal framework to protect the both parties' rights, ensure contract enforcement, and handle disputes. Generally, when the private party is coming, so they want to ensure what will be the maximum risks and what will be the enforcement, legal dispute, how the dispute will be handled. So they want a clear clarity. Then they come with their investment and technology. So clear government policy and dedicated PPP cells should improve, or they generally improve project transparency and success. So in India also particular cells or particular organizations are there which are working in this area. In this type of PPP project, a good value for money is being derived after completion of the project, during maintenance of the project, and it is to provide better value for public money by leveraging the private sector efficiency and innovation. So you get comparatively a better value for money in this type of procurement mode. And when we decide the PPP contractor or tendering, so generally a complete transparent process is being followed through a competitive bidding. So what the scope of work is fixed, and whatever are the related contractor, they participate in the bidding process. A comprehensive technical evaluation is done and competency of the contractor or bidder is being checked, and after checking these all, the contract is awarded to the successful bidder which is meeting the criteria as per the tender document. So it is the most efficient and qualified private partner is being chosen through this mode. When we use this PPP model, so in what type of procurement modes or model or items we should use this model? So here I would like to highlight that generally big projects which are very capital intensive and complex in nature and large and running for a long period of time. So such type of projects are being carried out under this model. For example, you can take highways, airports, schools, hospitals, power distribution companies, seaports, bridges, sewage plants, power supply plants, renewable or solar power projects, medical college, metro rail projects, smart city project, etc., etc. So such type of big project are being done through PPP model. It ensures value for money by combining the public oversight with the private efficiency, and it allows the output based procurement instead of traditional itemized contracting. In such scenario, we use this PPP model. Just have a look on this. There are some differences between traditional procurement and PPP procurement. Here I would like to highlight that the ownership. Under the PPP model, the ownership is shared and private ownership is there during the contract tenure. But in the traditional mode of procurement, the ownership is with the government and government operates it. Regarding responsibility, in traditional procurement, government handle all the phases But in PPP, private partner handle design to O&M, operation and maintenance. Regarding payment, in traditional procurement, payment made upon construction, but in PPP model, it is based upon performance and delivery. Regarding risk, mostly it is on the government side in traditional procurement, but in PPP model, it is shared depending upon the nature of contract and whatever is agreed. But it is a shared risk. And focus in government procurement, in traditional procurement modes, focus remains on input and compliance, but in PPP model, the focus remains on output and outcomes. What are the benefits of PPP model? So there are benefits for different stakeholders. Some benefits are there for government, some benefits are there for private sector, and some for public. So here for government, it saves the public fund. Generally, limited funds are available as a public fund. So we want to bring the private investment in that particular field. So it brings public, it saves public fund and bring the private sector funds, private sector technology efficiency, and it enhances the infrastructure speed. So the contract is being executed in a speedy way, comparatively speedy way. For private sector, the benefit is that they get the long term investment opportunity. When they are investing their capital, they get the long term revenue generation through their investment and a stable income, being the contract is related to the government. So they're also winner. So both parties, government and private sector, both are in winning situation. And definitely public also. What public will get? Public will get better services, better infrastructure in their related area or country, and improved accessibility and affordability. The accessibility will be there to public, it will be comparatively economic, and they can afford it. Generally, such type of contract are designed in such a way that it is accessible and affordable to the general public. So these all are the benefit to all the triparty. You can see, just have a look on this. There are some challenges also. In PPP model, what are those challenges? These are the legal and complex type of contract, and regulatory environment is very tight in this. So a complex legal and regulatory environment is there, and generally what happens sometime in the land acquisition and approval, sometime delay happens. So this is also a challenge, and sometimes if the risk is not assessed by both of the parties, so there is an imbalance between the risk sharing, and inadequate risk may be there if it is not properly assessed by the parties. Sometimes some over ambitions are being done or forecast by the private player, but when on the ground when they execute the contract, so such revenues are not on the ground, really are not generating those revenue. So there may be situation that the ambitious private player they generate a forecast of high revenues. A robust contract management and monitoring system is there. So the issue related to that may be challenges for the private party. Some solution you can see if you want to improve or work on those challenges. So a strong policy support is required. Transparent process should be there, and skilled PPP unit should be there. So if these things are there, we will mitigating the challenges to a considerable way. Certainly, challenges are always there when any project is there, and these are the big projects and having big investment. In India, what are the institutions involved in this? So here I would like to highlight some of the key institutions which are working related to this. One is under the Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs, that is a PPP cell. So it is a very important department. Other is Public Private Partnership Appraisal Committee. Next is viability gap funding and non-viable but essential project. It is a scheme, VGF scheme you can say. Next is model concession agreement, MCA. So here some standard contract templates are there. So this type of the institutional framework related to PPP exist in India. Here you can see some of the examples of the projects which have been done using this PPP model. One is like you know that Delhi Metro Rail project. It is a PPP model with private operations and maintenance. Ganga Expressway in Uttar Pradesh. It is a hybrid annuity model. hospitals under Ayushman Bharat scheme, private players construct and operate that, and under the smart city mission, ICT infrastructure under PPP mode is being there, and national highway development, NHI projects on BOT and HAM models. So these are some of the examples which are successfully running in India, and metro is a very successful example, and NHI highways are a very successful example. So many projects have been done by using this model. Now let's see what are some of the international example of the projects being done under the PPP model. So you can see that one is United Kingdom's UK's Private Financial Finance Initiative PFI. So under which hospitals and schools are being constructed, maintained and operationalized. Next you can see Canada Line Metro in Vancouver. It is a urban rail project. You see the France Vinci Airport. So all the airport operations are with the private player. They operate at Chile's road concession program. So these are some of the examples of the international project which is being done using this PPP model. Here you can see that there are different type of models under the PPP. One is BOT, DBFO. BOT means build, operate, transfer. BO means build, own, operate. DBFO, design, build, finance and operate. So here you just pause this slide and you can see the benefits, what are the description, what is the ownership, and which party is having what responsibility, and what examples are there. So here I tried to highlight the different mode of PPP model, different models of PPP with their description, ownership, responsibility, example. If you wish that I should make a detailed video on these models, so each model we can make detailed video. So please mention in the comment box. Some more models are there: lease, develop and operate, operate, maintain and transfer, build, lease and transfer, BLT, hybrid annuity model. So these are some more models examples wherein you can see the who is having what ownership and what responsibility private sector is having, and what are the examples. So let us take example of OMT, operate, maintain and transfer. So under this uh, operates and maintains existing public asset, then return it to the government. So what private player do? Private player operates and maintain the particular project with the existing public asset and then return it to the government. In this case, the ownership lies with the public, and private sector is responsible for operation and maintenance. So generally, road maintenance contracts are being done under this model. If you see the BLT, build, lease and transfer model, build the asset, lease it to government and transfer it after lease ends. So here the ownership lie with the public after lease, and responsibility of the private sector is the design, build and finance, and example is government building. So there are certain type of PPP model, and I have given example this. Just pause this and see this. You will have a fair idea. If you feel that we should make a detailed video on this topic, please let us know via the comment box. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in some particular topic, so please put some comments. We will try to make the video on that particular topic. And if you like the content of this channel, please like, share and subscribe with your friends also. It is a purely educational channel, and we want to spread the procurement related knowledge on different topics to the concerned users, students or other professional, whatever you are. So thanks for watching.